The Significance of Rivers in the Bible, Part 1. The Bible starts with the river that went out of Eden. It watered the garden and then split into 4 more rivers. Genesis chapter 2, verse 10. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. The Bible also ends with a river, the river that proceeds from the throne of God. Revelation chapter 2, verse 1-2. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. These are literal rivers, and they are sources of life. There are also spiritual rivers that run through history. Mystery Babylon, as it is referred to in Revelation chapter 17, verse 5, and the river of God. Rivers bring life with them, and most great civilizations have been built on rivers. When the river dries up, the civilization dies. For example, the nation of Egypt depends upon the waters of the Nile. The day will come when the Nile will dry up. This is something the Lord will do to humble the nation and bring it to faith in Jesus Christ. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dry up. And the Lord shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it. And they shall return even to the Lord, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. Every river has a source. Eventually the river will run to the open sea, and with some exceptions, such as the river Jordan, which empties into the Dead Sea, which has no outlet. The place where the river starts determines its destination. It will flow in a predetermined direction, north to south, east or west. The river runs until it finishes its course. It starts at a high point and finishes at a low point. As an example, there are several rivers that have their source in my local area. I'll use this example to show you what I mean. This is Dartmoor National Park. This line represents the watershed. The rivers that start above it flow north. For example, that's the East Oakman, that's the West Oakman, that's the Tor. Tor flows north. It actually flows from Dartmoor all the way to Bideford, comes out here. So all those rivers above this black line flow north. The rivers below the black line, the watershed line, such as the Dart, the Tame, the West Dart, the Davy, they flow south. So, for example, the Tavy flows down and comes out, joins up with the Tamar River, and comes out here at Plymouth. So the course of the river is determined by where it starts. The river that starts above the watershed line flows north. The river that starts below the watershed line flows south. This is all relevant in terms of Bible prophecy because of the spiritual rivers that run through history. Where the rivers start determine their course. God's river started in the Garden of Eden. Satan's river started at the Tower of Babel. Both rivers will run their course and influence everything in their paths. Mystery Babylon is really a river or stream that runs through history. It started with Nimrod, who was descended from Ham and Cush. Nimrod was a mighty hunter and seems to be the person who started building cities on the earth, beginning with Babel or Babylon. After the flood, mankind had one language and one speech. They travelled to the plain of Shinar, Babylonia, and settled there. God had spoken to Noah and his sons and told them to replenish the earth. Genesis chapter 9 verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth." However, under the leadership of Nimrod, the descendants of Noah remained together as a group and did not want to be scattered. Genesis chapter 11 verse 4. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." Building the Tower of Babel was a deliberate attempt to avoid doing the will of God. God had to split the people up and give them different languages, so that they would have to separate into different groups. Genesis chapter 11 verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. From that time, mankind has been split into national and linguistic groups. There has always been a push for nations to say, "We don't need God if we band together." This has been the driving force behind many power blocks and associations of nations throughout history. However, the Spirit of God has always resisted this, and the nation-state has remained the most stable platform for government. Mystery Babylon represents man's desire to be independent of God. It is a river of rebellion that has run throughout history. When this is combined with Satan's own rebellion against God, you have the recipe for the torrent of evil that has flowed through the millennia. The literal city of Babylon is built on the river Euphrates. The Bible tells us that this river will eventually dry up. Revelation chapter 16 verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Unlike God's river, which is eternal, this river of evil will eventually dry up and come to nothing. Its start and its end are barren and worthless. If you found this video interesting, you can find more information at prophecy-workshop.com. Thank you for listening.